Hello everyone. Welcome to the February version of the pricing bulletin. Today I have with me Rahul Gehani and Ricky Sundrani, both partners at the firm. Rahul co-heads the pricing assurance practice, and Ricky is part of the same practice. He leads the cloud infrastructure and cybersecurity cluster within the practice. Welcome both of you.
Thanks, Rohan.
Thank you, Rohan.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we are already at the end of the second month of 2024, and we are seeing some robust activity in the market. So, I want to ask this question to both of you, Rahul, Ricky. How do you think the current market scenario is evolving for service providers, and what should service providers expect in 2024 going ahead?
Okay, so a good, interesting question. And from my vantage point, I expect providers will continue to see tough market conditions for a good part of this year, just like we saw in 2023. If we just recap, in 2023, we saw growth percentages declining for service providers from a revenue growth standpoint. And from a pricing standpoint, pricing was flattish for most of the towers in IT as well as BPO services. Our current visibility indicates that things would remain similar in the first half of this year. Uh, Perhaps in the second half of this year, the global economy will fare better. But till that time, I expect the tough market conditions in the outsourcing market, they will persist.
At least, Rahul, I can see some bright spot that the second half might fare better. Ricky, coming to you since you are closer to the UK and the European market, being there in UK itself, and UK, we already see it as in technical recession. Now, the question I have is how this is going to impact on the IT services. Do you see a rock bottom in the coming months in terms of pricing, or is it like Rahul said, we might see better times ahead?
Yeah, I think I would concur with Rahul. So, just to share more context, surprisingly, Europe has been relatively resilient in terms of IT spending compared to North America. So, and this is corroborated if you look at the reports from some of the larger IT service providers. For example, I think Accenture reported about 2% growth in EMEA versus a 1% decline in North America. I think Infosys posted another similarly 5% growth in Europe versus a decline of 5% in North America. So, I think generally we anticipate pricing to be a bit more resilient in the UK and Europe compared to North America. Nevertheless, I think the magnitude of price increases are nowhere close to what we saw in 2022. So, of course, they're much lower, closer to 2 to 3% price increase, in spite of inflation continuing to remain high. However, I think what we are also anticipating, and there's some news around it as well, that the inflation expectations are bottoming out, which then raises hopes of interest rates cuts in the near future, which will definitely ease things in the second half compared to where we are now. So things are looking up definitely, and this should look better moving forward.
I think that's really positive coming out from both of you that things might look positive in the near future. Uh, the second thing I have, Ricky and Rahul, if you have to focus on one theme that would have a significant impact on the way outsourcing of IT services evolves this year, what would that be?
I believe it will be important for providers to take practical calls, with regard to accounting for impact of generative AI in solutioning and pricing of deals. Clearly, the clients are now asking for details, around what the providers are bringing to the table, around Gen AI. So, what's the cost for bringing Gen AI to the table? What is its impact? When will it get delivered? So, most providers are currently struggling to put forward a coherent story, on all of these parameters right now. But they will need to gather intelligence from the pilots that they are running themselves, gather some more intelligence from the industry, understand what are some of the realities of implementing generative AI, and then, ultimately package it all together, make a coherent story around the investments required, the ROI that those investments will yield. That is the big expectation, that providers need to deliver on.
That's interesting, Rahul. I think Gen AI certainly, that is a theme that's going around this year. And Ricky, what do you think? Do you have similar views?
Yeah, I think I would have also had put my finger on Gen AI, but I think in addition to Gen AI, a couple of other themes which will be impactful this year. So first of all, I think this year we believe is going to be about doing more with less for enterprises. That is, for them, it'll be about leveraging value or realizing value from their existing technology investments, be it in cloud, be it in cybersecurity or any other areas, because there's been a sort of they've spent a lot of money over the years in these areas. Now it's about realizing more value, consolidating all of these. The other bit I feel is going to be important this year is moving to more alternate commercial and engagement models, right? Which could simply imply moving from, let's say, if you're using time and material, moving to more output-based models, or where the service provider has more accountability in terms of owning the overall outcome. Or it could even mean moving to more outcome-based models, where the service provider commits to part of the fee being contingent or meeting certain business or IT outcomes. And we're already seeing some shades of this, for example, and getting manifested in the form of, say, for example, there are certain deals in the market where part of the fee in digital workplace deals is contingent on something called XLAs, where you measure user experience, or in something like FinOps, where the provider makes money on the amount of savings they're generating for the client. So I feel, and also I think Gen AI, right? Given that Gen AI is on the rise, how do you embed Gen AI in your deals? And that's why I think fundamentally the structure of some of these deals might alter going forward. So I believe these are the couple of themes which are going to be fairly important this year.
Yeah, Ricky, that's quite an interesting point that you raised, and we see that, a lot of inquiries coming in about, how the pricing models are going to shape up. In fact, what would be the impact of Gen AI also on those pricing models? I think these are very pertinent points that you've raised here, and really, this can be a game changer going ahead in 2024. Now, I think that is all we had in this version of the pricing bulletin. Thanks, Rahul and Ricky, for joining us and giving your views on the market. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Rohan.
Thank you.